In this section, we will study about reaction of metals with water. So, the general reaction for metals with water is metal plus water forms metal oxide and hydrogen. Now, hydrogen gas is produced in this reaction, but what happens when the metal oxide is soluble in water? If it is soluble in water, then it proceeds with another step in the reaction and forms, when it dissolves in water, it forms metal hydroxide. That means for such metals whose oxides are soluble in water, the net reaction would be metal plus water would result in the formation of metal hydroxide plus hydrogen. In case of metals whose oxides are not soluble in water, for them this is the reaction, that metal with water forms metal oxide and hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas is produced in each case whether the metal oxide is soluble or not. So let us look at the reaction of some of the metals with water. So first we'll talk about these two, potassium and sodium. These two are highly reactive metals and reacts with cold water violently. So this is solid state potassium and it reacts with water, and its oxide, see in this what will happen? First metal oxide will form. Since its oxide is soluble in water, so this reaction will result in the final formation of potassium hydroxide. So potassium hydroxide formula is QH. Its aqueous solution will be formed and it will result in the formation of hydrogen gas and a lot of heat energy. Similarly, sodium, when it reacts with water, it forms sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas plus heat energy. Now let us understand what happens in these two. They are so reactive that when heat is produced and hydrogen gas is produced, we all know hydrogen is an excellent fuel and can burn, producing a lot of energy. So when it reacts with water, the reaction is so fast that the hydrogen produced catches fire because a lot of heat energy is produced, so it catches fire. So it can be sometimes dangerous also. If a lot of sodium is added to water, it can lead to explosion. Similarly, so potassium and sodium undergo similar reactions even with cold water. So water here is at we can say room temperature, or cold water can also cause such reaction. So this was the case with potassium and sodium. Next we will talk about calcium. Calcium also can easily react with cold water and forms calcium hydroxide. The formula is CaOH whole twice, and it also, see, in every case hydrogen gas will be released, but it does not catch fire, or it's not that much violent, as the energy produced in this is less. So these two reactions are highly exothermic. This one is exothermic, but not a lot of heat is not produced. Okay. Then we'll talk about next matter we'll talk about magnesium. Now magnesium, being slightly less reactive than these, will react with water, but it's less reactive, so it does not react with cold water. So this is hot water, that means we have to heat the water, and the hot water when mixed with magnesium, it also forms hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. So far we have discussed these four metals. They are undergo highly exothermic reaction and result in the formation of H2 gas which catches fire easily. Calcium being less reactive, in this case the reaction is not violent. In case of magnesium, it does not react with cold water, and thus we need to give hot water, or we need to use hot water for magnesium to react. But in all the four cases, their oxides are soluble in water. That's why they are forming hydroxide. We will move to other metals. Now, next three metals, aluminium, iron and zinc. See, this is not the exact order of reactivity, but these three are even less reactive with water and does not react with neither with cold water nor with hot water. So what we need steam for them to react. So when aluminium reacts with water, steam means this will be in the gaseous form, and their oxides are not soluble in water, so they form aluminium oxide. Aluminium reacts with steam to form aluminium oxide and hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is released in every case, whether the oxide is soluble in water or insoluble. Similarly, iron, when it reacts with steam, it forms iron oxide and hydrogen gas. And similarly, zinc will react. Now, zinc will also react with steam. And in the last case, copper, lead, silver and gold, these being even lesser reactive, they do not react. So these do not react with water. So they do not react with water at all. So what we have seen is these being very reactive, react with cold water vigorously, violently. These two, this calcium react with cold water but not as violently as these two. So this is less reactive. Magnesium requires hot water to react. It does not react with cold water. Aluminium, iron and zinc, they react with steam. So they do not react with cold water or hot water. We need even high temperature for the reaction to occur. And finally, copper, lead, silver and gold. These four do not react with water at all. So that is all about metals reaction with water.